The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters at Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Calloway. We have a very special guest for you today from Champaign County, Illinois, with Coldwell banker Stefanie Pratt. Stefanie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Has the weather started changing up there already?
Well, today was going to be the last pool day for me, and I just got a new heater put in yesterday, and end up getting solar panel stuff going on at my house. So I have not been able to enjoy the last 75-degree day here. It's going to go down to like 60 tomorrow. So,
wow.
Yeah, you grab things in real estate. You grab hours, you grab moments. You don't get to grab a whole day.
Right. Right. So it begins the fall winter procession. I've lived up that way myself various times in my life. And I will say I'm in Florida now. So I will say I do miss the fall, but I don't miss the winter. So it's kind of one of those deals, but everybody's different, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I say I love my black boots and black leather, but I feel like my son.
Right. Right. So, Stefanie, how did you get started in real estate? Interesting story there.
Well, I was in the beer business, so I made everybody's dreams temporarily disappear. Now I make them come true, as I say.
There you go. Love that.
I was there 8 years.
Yeah.
With sales. I was a Miller girl, and then I led up to sales, and I did a lot of the beer tents and football games because we're in University of Illinois area. And I just wanted to do more. I was getting passed up by management for promotions because I didn't have a 4-year degree. I started a degree in, it was more occupational therapy. And then I went to sales and marketing, and I got this job, and I in Orange and Blue as a sales rep and Miller girl. And I thought, well, I can go forward with a sales degree, or I could actually take the job right now, finish what I could, and see if I want to do it later on and finish up the degree. But, it worked out really nicely. I just was never going to advance after a certain time because being a female in a male-oriented business actually didn't help me, but I fought my way through. And then I decided why not go into real estate?
Wow.
I wasn't because I liked pretty homes. I knew it was going to be a business. I knew it was going to be work. It's not looking at pretty homes and driving around in fancy cars, because those things cost money and there's nobody supplementing your income when you're on commission only.
Sure.
So I worked with my little PSC printer and made marketing materials and sent them out and did everything I could as low budget as I could to get my name out there. And I became Rookie of the Year my first year for the Realtors Association. And I was walking the stage at the national conventions pretty much within the second year. And I've been a top producer ever since.
Wow, that's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's awesome. So tell me about the market and where you are now. Are you solo, or are you part of a team, or what's going on in your office there, and how are you growing it?
I never wanted a big team because I don't want to manage a lot of people. I like to work in the industry. I love the thrill of it. I love that every day is different. I love to challenge it. I do have probably the most rock star agent I've ever had. She's been a godsend. I've had good realtors, don't get me wrong, but I tend to want to work ethic like I do, like I have, and she's got that, but she doesn't want the overhead. So I brought her on. She used to be with me years ago. Just wasn't really the right timing for us to be together. And then she wanted to get back in, and I brought her on this last, I guess it was like November, December. And she came on officially in January, and it's just really lightened my load and allowed me to focus on even more real estate. Plus, I've been the president of the Realtors Association here locally for a second time, not consecutively, because I ran the chairs twice, and I'm now immediate past president. So that's helped my business, but at the same time, it does take a little bit away. So I just multitask a lot, but I mean, my production is still way up.
Nice. Fantastic. So how are the two now when you were talking about your agent, is that Patty?
Yes, Patty.
Okay. So how do you and Patty, how are you marketing yourselves now? You were talking about when you first started, you had your printer, and you were probably boots on the ground type person. You may still be. A lot of folks
I
are.
am.
Yeah, a lot of folks are. What methodology do you have to finding listings and or buyers?
Well, I'm a creative person, so I do all my own marketing. I don't sub it out. Nobody does my social media. I create my
Mhm.
logo. I create my everything. I have so many ideas running through my head half the time that, I mean, you'd probably get lost in there. But I do everything as far as ordering, and I haven't done postcards really for the last hardly at all, just a couple here and there. I still do
Right.
those, even though they G file and email, they could actually just block you or get
Sure.
off your list. In a postcard, they have to look at it and throw it away, which is good. It's all top of mind awareness. But I get involved in the community. I'm very big in the community and I give back. So just like with when COVID hit in 2020, that we didn't know if we were going to sell real estate in Illinois. We were deemed essential, which I don't know how housing is not essential to me, but
Yeah.
okay, our governor is different. California was not allowed to, and Michigan wasn't allowed to. We were. So my business was a little slower. I had quite a few closings, but we all were trying to navigate. I started giving away gift cards because a lot of my friends, when I grew up in the beer industry, were restaurants and bartenders and ice and musicians. And they were done. They didn't have anything. Everything was shut down. So I started buying the gift cards and giving them out and just putting on Facebook and saying, okay, register to win. And anybody that registers is going to get like a $5, $10, $20 gift
Right.
card, whatever. And I gave out thousands of dollars with gift cards. And I didn't give it because I wasn't trying to buy a meal. I was trying to get them to, I was
Right.
giving them money so that they would spend money in the business. And I would tag the gift places, the restaurants and the employees and everybody. Really, it helped. That really helped my business. And I wasn't doing it to that. I was doing it because I'm doing amazing and my business is going good. And I have friends that are falling flat and they're losing their businesses. It was really heartbreaking to see, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
I fed the police. We were going to feed the nurses. Somebody at the university reached out, said, let's feed the nurses. I said, okay. So I reached out and they were being overran because they were being furloughed. They didn't have the business that we all thought they were having here. We thought that, the hospitals were being overrun and they weren't as much. So that kind of makes you question what was going on too.
Sure.
So I'm like, well, what do you want to do? She said, well, pick an organization of where we could feed. I said, well, the police are still boots on the ground and they don't get enough love. And sure enough, we started doing the Feed the Police program and just thinking, and it's really been good. I mean, I'm sure some people don't like it, but I don't care, to be honest.
Right.
I'm doing it for the good of what I'm doing and I'm holding
Sure.
them accountable.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've always said that, when you realize the four others mentality is far more serving overall, then your life becomes a lot better. I mean, just having that four others mentality as opposed to a lot of realtors that are about themselves, so yeah, I agree. And I think that's fantastic what you did. So you probably made quite a few connections, much like you did in your beer days. They made a lot of connections during a time when most realtors were pretty much confused or chicken little, the sky is falling, even though home prices were nice and there were still sales. But it sounds like you forged a very nice relationship with a lot of folks.
I did. And I also came off of 2019. I did the Dancing with the CU Stars here through the Boys and Girls Club. And that was a very big thing for, being in the community. And I very much support the Boys and Girls Club. I was on their board at one time and a lot of their committees. So that was something that when I was asked, I canceled my trip to National Association of Realtors in San Francisco with all my wineries and stuff, because that's how important that was for me to do that. How terrifying it was, I cannot even explain. But my 7 minutes of rock and roll, being the ending, skit and everything, it really put me out there again. And it showed people that maybe I hadn't connected with what I was about. Because I actually did the marketing for it. I did billboards. Wow. They said, you did the most marketing of any dancer that we've ever had. And did amazing. Luncheons, I did dinners, I did postcards. Everybody knew I was dancing.
Well, you are the rock and roll realtor, aren't you?
The rocks, yep.
Yeah. How'd you get that? Is that something you conjured up, or they just started calling you that, or who you are?
Yeah, I was a realtor with the big hair and the big heart, because I've always had the big hair.
Yeah.
And then I went straight in my hair and I didn't know what to say, and it kind of flew out of my mouth on a radio commercial. the realtor that rocks. And I was like, oh, huh.
Yeah,
Let's
there we
just see
go.
how that goes. And it's carried through. So, and I also have a lot of, I know the Brett Michaels band, I knew Warren, I
Right.
know all those guys. So I've worked with them. I
Oh,
brought them
yeah.
in when I've tried to actually do stuff. So I love my rock and roll music.
My first date with my wife was to go to a Warrant concert, and it was canceled when we got there, and we ended up just walking around the West End in Dallas in 1989.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so we weren't married then, but we got married a few years later in 92. But yeah, so
You
it's
have to go
kind of
back to
funny.
one of those. They still put on a phenomenal show, to be
Yeah,
honest. And I love hanging out with them and seeing them, and
pretty cool.
that's good.
Yeah, awesome. So let's put on our prognostication hats real quick, and tell me what the next year looks like for you, or possibly, or what your plan is over the next year, or maybe 3 years or 5 years, depending on what you've planned out for. But what does that look like going forward?
Well, I will be starting my 20th year in March, and I will turn 50 on November 28th. So
Congratulations. Welcome to the
I
club.
plan I'm blessed to actually have another year around the sun.
There
I
you
love it.
go.
I'm already planning a huge bash and client appreciation party in November. So I had been wanting to get my real estate license in Florida because we do reciprocate,
Mhm.
and just see where I wanted to go with that on my next half of my years.
Right.
But of course that got put on ice because where I was going to go was Fort Myers and Sarasota area. And I still probably get my license and work on that and get that reciprocal and then put it holding, and then I can decide what I want to do. So I still have the past presidency here of the Realtors
Mhm.
Association, and we just hired our new AE after 43 years. So that was huge on my term. I'm buying my first rental property. I wasn't going to do that, but I have an incredible opportunity, and why not start another LLC? I have
Yeah, why
nothing else
not?
to do, right?
So are you thinking about dueling between here in Florida and Illinois, or
That was my goal, and that is
yeah,
something I'm still considering. We have, unfortunately, I mean, I keep up in the political field and I keep up on the crimes and stuff and the police, and we have something in January 1st with a police reform bill kind of option that is going to be a no cash state, no cash bail, and it is very concerning after talking
sure.
to police and
Mhm.
state's attorneys and keeping up on things. I've scrubbed my Facebook. So on my public Facebook, you can't see everything on my house or anything for the last
Yeah,
so many years,
yeah,
at the direction of law enforcement. And I'm going to see how this goes. I'm ready to fight for the state, and I'm not going to be pushed out. But I am concerned about what this is going to do to our economy. We've already had, as you live in Florida, you know that Illinois has had a tremendous amount of people moving out, and it's been the
sure.
most relocation out of here to Florida, Arizona, Tennessee. We've got some going there, a couple Georgia. So those are
Yeah,
things that's
Georgia's hot.
concerning to
Yeah.
me. And I've got a good business. I have a party bus business, limo business. I started on the side out of the blue. It wasn't meant, it just happened. So I'm not ready to leave. So I think my goal is to stay here and
Right.
potentially look to split my time over the next 10 years to start to not migrate that way
Yeah.
and just see how I want to do things.
Yeah. I don't blame you a bit. I don't blame you a bit. So you're more than welcome here. I'll say that. So
Oh, thank you.
yeah, I've been here 4 years, and I haven't regretted a day of it, even though I was warned constantly about a million different things. And I had vacation and been, and I have family that lives here, um, and never bothered me a bit. And once I got here, I was like, why didn't I come 10 years sooner? I mean, so
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I know it's hot down there in the summer,
yeah,
but at the same time, I mean, I can put my hair up and I don't care. I mean, I just want to make sure I make the most out of life. And this
yeah,
career has given me everything that
right,
I never believe. I mean, I knew I was going to do good, but my dad even said, well, I'm going to get your spare bedroom ready. I'm like, thanks for the vote of confidence, buddy.
right,
When I got my real estate license, but what I've done, it still buzzed my mind. When I built my house in the showcase of homes, I was like, oh my gosh. So I
right,
remember all those first. So when I see people getting into the industry, if they're really solid and true, I can't wait to see what they're doing. You can always tell the ones that think it's always so easy and fun. Like, we've been nonstop the last 2 years. I mean, basically somebody wants to go see a house, and you probably heard it. we just have to go within an hour. So
Sure.
we've become very much more casual about showing, but because we have to go out, but the market is changing here. August slowed down to being a typical August slower month because we have a lot of closings at the end of July and August because of the move in with university and stuff.
Sure.
So September really kind of crept in a little bit too. We are seeing some sales, don't get me wrong, and we're low inventory and the interest rates are helping, but the election this year is hurting us. The presidential election year always does. This primary is such a pivotal thing, and with what's going on over across the pond,
Sure.
It's starting to affect what people want to do.
Yes.
So I think after the primaries, depending on what happens, we could open up the floodgates again like we did the last time. I don't know. I mean, we don't know what's going on across the pond. There's too much going on that's kind of a little concerning. But the election,
quite a bit going on concerning.
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna change the buying power of a lot of buyers, and that's gonna start dropping the prices a little bit. Not immediately, but it's gonna affect it over time. And what 2023 is gonna look like, I wish my crystal ball was actually active right now, but it's I think we need a couple more months to actually truly see what we're going to be in 2023. I think we'll be okay, but I think it's going to change.
Hey,
we're already seeing Homestead.
Yeah, we never would have predicted 2020, 2021, I mean, no, never, ever. So who knows? You just have to be steadfast, right? And plan accordingly. So usually, this is a question I love to ask. It's the only curveball I'll throw you.
Go for it.
If I had a magic wand, and I could solve any of your problems in your business, what's the one problem you would love solved that right now you have difficulty with, or maybe ongoing difficulty with?
Oh gosh, I mean, I don't really have. I mean, I pretty much tackle everything that comes across to me. Now that I have that rock star, on my team, I'm like, that actually helps rather than just doing it all myself, because Lee comes in, I'm like, I'll work them all, but it's nice to actually have a little bit of a break and let somebody else actually help out and do the extra leads and stuff. Gosh, keep interest rates low. That's really low. I don't sit really long. I'm always thinking 6 months ahead. If I only have a couple, I'm always got closings going on, and I'm always thinking. And like I've got right now, I'm going to do something for my 50th birthday. I'm going to design a 20th year logo and do some, fundraising and do some different things. I mean, I'm always going. So I have no problem saying if I have something that I need, but I don't know of anything right now. I mean, if you ask me another month, it could change.
Sure. It could be.
Right now I'm pretty good with everything. Yeah. I don't have any problems.
You ever thought of you ever thought of marketing yourself as a boots on the ground marketer for other realtors? I mean, you do so many interesting things. That could be a nice side venture for you, and start that up and let somebody operate it. You're the idea person.
Well, interesting you say that. A friend of mine, Mary Shore, she has actually a book. She's a writer, and she has been pushing me to actually do marketing and showing what I do and doing programs and stuff. And she sends me links and books and got me a bunch of stickies. She goes, I'll teach you how to do the, we put your stickies and put your ideas up there and put them all together. So it's on the docket. It is on the list. So I have thought of that.
There's my magic wand. I told you.
That's it.
I had to throw that in there. Well, how would someone get in touch with you if Stefanie, if they wanted to reach out to you to either be a buyer or list a home?
Well, they can get on my website, the StefaniePrattHomes.com, which you probably got on there and saw that. You can contact me through there. I've been starting my recipes for a while, but real estate's kind of become the focus, not actually building up my recipes that I like to actually share with people. Social, social media, Facebook and everything. As long as I know that they're not a bot or they're not like a fake profile and I can research them, I put them in queue until I do. And then if they're safe and they're not going to be like argumentative, they're in my friends. If not, you probably go into the public site only.
You got to go.
Yeah. But I mean, basically my social media or my website, I'm pretty much easy to find.
Gotcha.
And I'm always responsive. I mean, I think that's the key thing. Realtors sometimes aren't responsive, and I'm always responding within minutes or within the same day, depending on, I keep a nice little queue of things. So it's very important. People don't like to actually wait.
Yeah, they don't.
I don't like to wait.
Well,
So
society's kind of turned into that too, but technology has kind of helped that facilitate that along a little bit. So the last thing I like to do, Stephanie, is and I always say I'm kind of like a DJ, and you're the rock star record. I usually say the pop, but you're the rock star record. I'm just here facilitating. I'll give you the last word. Anything about your business we didn't cover, or possibly a favorite charity you'd like to tout. I'll give you the floor here for the last minute or two.
well, I think with not-for-profits, I used to do $100 for every home I sold to a local not-for-profit. And I had to change that up a little bit because of helping the restaurants and stuff, but I'm going to be going back to that. I still donate, but the Champaign County Humane Society is very big to me. Very big on that. I always say pets, kids, and causes. If you hit all those, you hit everybody's taste buds as far as not-for-profits.
Right.
Like I do with Kids CASA, I do See You at Home. There's quite a few that I actually work with. I'm actually going to bring that into my birthday and customer appreciation, where people can donate to that stuff rather, because I don't need gifts. I appreciate them, but I don't need them. But I just think it's really important for people to actually reach outside and not treat clients and customers as a number. Treat them as a human. I worked with an older gentleman recently, and I'm putting together a senior program, and I jumped in more than I should have, but they said I was more than a realtor. He didn't have anybody.
Nice.
And I jumped in and helped him sell some stuff. He was in a home. He's going through memory care and early onset dementia, more short term.
Right.
And he's been kind of entertaining. And I got to know their family a little bit and really put things in perspective. How would I want to be treated in that transaction? Right. I would want somebody to help me out the most I can. And I think that's what realtors actually, they're so scared to actually get too involved. They're scared because of, what if the liability and everything. But when it comes down to it, you got to treat people like a human being. And this is sometimes it can be very emotional. And that's kid gloves. And you have to read the person. You can't just go in and treat everybody exactly the same. Some people need more kid gloves. Some people need more attention. They need it explained differently. And that's a very big part of real estate.
Yeah, for sure. I have a personal question for you, and I'll edit it out of this if you don't like me saying it.
I'm open, but
you and I are both from a similar generation. I'll call it the hairband generation.
Oh yeah.
Hairspray or mousse?
I haven't used mousse in years.
Ah,
I'm a hairspray girl, but not much. I don't need much.
Yeah, it's probably
just
kind of gotten used to being that form. Looks good though. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just the realtor with the big hair and the big heart. It's still there. The rocks.
Great combo. I love it. I love it. Stephanie, thanks so much for being on the show today. I've really enjoyed it. Great story. Look forward to catching up with you again, maybe over the next 3, 6, 9 months. And you were more than welcome down here in Florida. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. Let me know. I'd be happy to do an update in a couple of months and see how our Illinois is treating us.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast we could have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
So thank you. Have a good day.
You too.